Good morning, Tartarian hunters. Well, it's Thursday morning. I'm here in Melbourne City, and I thought I'd show you this amazing church slash power station, Cathedral, here in the city. It's really quite a big beast and very stunning. It's been shut for like a year and a half as a result of the Rona and the piss weak churches that govern it, the rapey priests of our world. So here's what's curious about it. Look at that. Of course I can't get in. I'm just prowling around the outside as always, as is my gig at the moment. What's interesting to me is that the history of this church goes as followed. 18 years after Melbourne was colonised, 18 years after we got here, they argued about where to build this church. 18 years after this city was founded. I mean, put that in perspective, like you guys know who've built your own house, who've arrived, say, on a bush block like here in Australia and built your own house, and you know how long building one house takes. If you do it by hand, without power tools and without any assistance from any electricity, and you just do it old school, where you are the carpenter, stonemason, bricklayer, tile layer, plasterer, woodcutter, you're all those modalities. Building just one little house could take you 7 years. And this, they were arguing about where to, inverted commas, put this after being in Melbourne for 18 years. So anyway, they decided that this would be a great location. Yes, great. So the more accurate story is they argued about who was going to get this building that they found, right? It's actually starting to really piss me off, like reading all this false history. Like they write about it so factually, like so matter of fact. Yes, and then this person here, he designed this feature here based on this architecture style that was very popular. And then, of course, construction on this site, it had to stop. Why? Because of the gold rush. What happened? Inverted commas, History Society. Every able-bodied man was sent or inspired to go, gold hunting in the wilderness. So they arrive here. Basically what they tell us is that this is a vacant nation with some basically sticks and stones indigenous walking around, and they get here and there's nothing, right? And then they start arguing about where to put everything, and they decide to start building everything, and then they build it, and then the gold rush happens, and every able-bodied man, which is exactly what they say in the war, is sent out to go and hunt gold. Going and hunting gold in Australia is like sending them out into the wildness, the wild bush, like no roads, bush, wild, no roads, no food, no nothing, with a bit of cloth that they brought over on the boat. I mean, the whole gold rush story makes zero sense. It's ridiculous. So basically what they're saying is that they lost. So two things happened. One, they were at war with our Aboriginal. Like, this is a war with soldiers, not convicts. They were sent over here to embark on the First World War of that century, basically, to annihilate all the original people that escaped the programming and had rejected the AI tech. And that was in the 17th century. So look at that. This is just something we whipped up this, you know. I think by the end of this we had 7 light bulbs formerly in Melbourne. And yet here we are. Cutting, carving, plastering, stonemasonry, evacuating, constructing. By hand, I'm assuming, all the stonework. By hand. Anyway, what was I yapping on about? So yeah, this is St. Patrick's Cathedral, here just at the front of the city. So you see there's some mega power stations here in Melbourne. This was a mega site, like this whole area. Look at that. We're surrounded in the most blissful, cute little buildings. Sun's in our eyes. All right. So then the gold rush happened. And what happened? Basically what I think is they had a war with the Indigenous. And they were losing, of course, because the Indigenous had magic. Campbell and I did an excellent podcast yesterday. And that's what the topic is. We'll broadcast that on Friday. And they did war. And then the Indigenous had magic because they'd rejected AI. They still had their strands of DNA intact. And then bang. Every abled soldier was sent to dig out the buildings. Basically, I would say is what happened. So this building took a while to, inverted commas, complete. I would say a while, inverted commas, to deconstruct. It's pretty epic. A while for them to, look, I'm on pavement here and we're down a whole nother level there. And look, you can just tell these doorways, right? Look at that, they're just too little. You can tell they're just the tips. I can tell that's just the tip. Why be so elaborate and have it so short? That's just the tip. So look. So yeah, I think this one took a while to deconstruct. It didn't obviously take much time to construct, according to the formal narrative. Like, what do you reckon for a building like this? Like, if it was actually real and we were really like doing it by hand and building this with no tech and no power, maybe 100 years, maybe 2-3 generations. What do you guys reckon? If it was actually built properly by human beings with no technology and a new brave landscape. But of course, there's nothing about our world that's honest and open. See, we go down here. I wonder how they decided, where they decided the level was going to be. At what point did they go, yeah, that's fine. Just cut that window off, cut that door off, that's fine. Or, we just don't have the energy to keep going. Like, I wonder if there was like a united Masonic like decision, because I think the Masonics were our corporate micromanagers of the deconstruction of all the tech and Tartaria. I wonder if there's just a consensus that, like, 3-4 meters was the stopping point. And, like, I wonder how you get up to that window. I could really fucking love to see what's up there. That's the other thing. We can never actually go and see, can we? We're like banned from actually going into these places. And now quadruple banned. Next to all this bullshit. Anyway, so that's St. Patrick's Cathedral in Melbourne City. Beautiful blue sky today. Blue sky, but no fewer lies, unfortunately. It's getting arduous. I tell you, people, I really need something to change here. We need to see some truth and some balancing of the fucking scales of justice, don't you think? Come on, justice. Let's get some balancing on before the end of September.